The land that we bought was part of a subdivided, quite large farm, and set about fencing the bush. It made it a lot easier to handle the cattle. Once you've put the first couple of fences up and you see in the end of the first summer, you see how much that bush has improved, you get quite enthusiastic about the job. And it was also quite appalling to see our cattle wandering around the foreshore over towards the oyster farm. It was quite interesting, so we fenced all the foreshore off.
Friends of the Mahurangi were formed in 1974. I was one of the inaugural members. John Mayle was the chairman, an ex-United Nations official, and his vision was that the Mahurangi needed a plan. And however, it was a wastewater issue for Warkworth that spurred us into action to form the group. My family was oyster farming at the time, and we were concerned that the wastewater wouldn't have been adequately treated. So that was the preoccupation of the group for the first several years. And now, all these years later, we're poised to, in fact, start writing that plan as a result of the Regional Council's work on the sedimentation.
Approximately 12 years ago, at one of the regattas at Sullivan's Bay, I joined the Friends of the Mahurangi and became involved in the executive over the years. And as part of that, I investigated some of the work that Fred Litchwark had done down at Raglan.
Water is one of the most important things that we have on our planet. Fresh water, and that's flowing into salt water. Unfortunately, a lot of the water that's flowing off New Zealand land is contaminated, mostly by sediment. Now, to remove that sediment, we have to do what is down here, and that is both on farmland as well as on developers' land, new subdivisions, as well as forestry. They all have to have a buffer zone. Now, here is an example or evidence that we've actually reversed that. The sediment has flushed from our foreshore and exposing the mangrove root systems, and you can see that where the mangroves are actually being displaced. The seagrass beds that have returned. Now, a lot of people don't realise that this particular green grass is actually extremely valuable to the marine environment. This is your nursery habitat. This is New Zealand's coral reef. It provides microorganisms, small marine life which feeds the snapper, the baby snapper when they're only centimetres long, and without the food supply, without that particular habitat, you won't have a fishery either. So when this starts appearing, you know that you're on the right track.
The Mahurangi Action Plan's 5-year pilot program has now concluded. Within this time frame, its achievements have been funding for over 92 kilometres of fencing, planting of over 120,000 native plants, protection of approximately 300 hectares of erosion-prone land, over 40 farm plans completed, delivery of a Y-Care-based education program with schools and homeschoolers, raising of community awareness, development of an environmental monitoring strategy, and support for community-based initiatives such as Friends of Mahurangi's Native Plant Open Ground Trials and the Magic Earth Theatre Society's Magic River production.
The Mahurangi Action Plan provided support in the beginning through the Y-Care, where we did these field trips and discovering what was living in the Mahurangi River and what surrounded the Mahurangi River. I have had so much feedback since the show about how the children have taken on board this whole idea of working for the environment.
This is the lorries that are one of the first streams we came to, isn't it?
And it runs all the way down to the Mahurangi.
It was way different when we first came here. There was no trees except for the tall manuka and a few cabbage trees.
And it wasn't fenced off.
No.
Cattle were allowed to get into the stream. The lorries took upon funding, and they have fenced this whole area off. We planted these trees kind of 2 or 3 years ago, and they've just shot off. And it's now looking beautiful.
The Mahurangi Action Plan over the last 5 years has not only meant that I can afford to plant natives, but it's also meant that the riparian work that I'd started suddenly is happening much, much faster.
You can see that something needs to be done to keep the harbour for my mokopuna, and your mokopuna, and everybody's mokopuna. And I guess for that to be sustainable, you need proper land use, looking after the land.
The caring for this river has got to go on for a long time period, and that's one of the things I think has been very good with the Mahurangi Action Plan, that the school kids have been involved. We've seen some of the kids here getting really enthusiastic about the river, and it's, whilst our generation has started this process, it's the next generation that will carry it on and hopefully take it to its fruition.
It's time for us to take a look at us as humans on this earth and the parts that we play and disrespect in terms of our environment.
The Mahurangi Action Plan has shown that communities can mobilise together to a common cause despite their diverse interests. It's fantastic that we've got a flagship, the Jane Gifford, that will be a symbol of uniting the past, bringing it forward into the future, one that worships and recognises the values of the place and its people. And it's such a heartening place to be. It's a real defence of the use of public funds where everybody working together achieves more than any of us could individually. And in a non-hierarchical way, in a non-conflictual way, interests can be combined when we're focused on the health of a beautiful space, great communities, and the future improvement of this region.
Let's talk about the river, how to keep it flowing from the land down to the sea. Let's talk about the river, how to keep it going, keep that river running free. Raindrops falling from the heavens, coming down on you and me. Raindrops falling from the heavens, keep that river running free. No sedimentations, contamination. We must plant our native trees. Our situation all across the nation is to keep our rivers clean. Raindrops falling from the heavens, coming down on you and me. Raindrops falling from the heavens, keep our river running free.